So yeah, what do you guys think personally with this one? I personally think that Black Ops right now has a ton of potential here. Like the Black Ops updates that we have been seeing have been absolutely incredible, guys. So yeah, smash that like button if you haven't already.
It's a Call of Duty, specifically Call of Duty Black Ops. The one thing that I've noticed, especially
what mysteries? My biggest mystery is like the transit robot or whatever you want to call it. Who is he? Who made him? I really like that guy, to be honest.
Year with Black Ops 6 is that there are a lot of unanswered mysteries with the entirety of the Black Ops story. Now, this has been done on purpose with various
That's what makes you buy the next game.
Things that we're going to look at throughout this video. But one thing that I've started to realize as more and more has got revealed for Call of Duty Black Ops 7, it appears as though they're going to be addressing a lot of these. And what I wanted to do is put together a video with the 10 biggest unanswered questions, unanswered mysteries, and try to put them together to show.
There is a lot because that connects the story. I feel like once they're done with Black Ops, like when it doesn't make money, they will like put all these mysteries into the last game. But these mysteries, I feel like Black Ops 7 will open more of them.
Show you guys what they are. In other words, what you can look out for going into the launch of Black Ops 7 and going into the teasers as well, because some of these have already been addressed and some of them that are, I will point out as we go through this video. So in other words, these are the 10 biggest unanswered mysteries when it comes to Call of Duty and when it comes to specifically the Black Ops universe. Let me show you what I mean.
Reznov. Now, this is the guy that we haven't heard much about, but I feel like this could be just an AI reconstruction of him. Again, the developments are going to be very advanced in Black Ops, in the newest Black Ops.
This probably is one of the most classic Call of Duty mysteries. It's pretty much one of the first ones, but in Call of Duty World at War, a character by the name of Viktor Reznov was introduced. He was kind of the wingman or mentor to a character by the name of Dmitry Kravchenko, and immediately he became a staple in all Treyarch games. He's been there since Call of Duty Black Ops 1, but the interesting thing about him in that game is he was originally introduced in the Vorkuta mission, and when he escapes alongside Alex Mason, he lets us know that it means freedom for Alex Mason, but not necessarily for Viktor Reznov.
Your turn! Come on!
So I feel like he secretly survived, but they are saving him for the correct game. This is a possibility.
Step 8, Reznov! Freedom! For you, Mason! Not for me! Reznov!
Or it's very possible he was reconstructed, like when we see the robot on the right. Like, not the robot, but the little AI thing. He could be very well reconstructed. I also believe that.
Now, as the game moved on, we saw many hallucinations of Viktor Reznov. He was never really there alongside Alex Mason, but as we come to find out, when Alex Mason was brainwashed, Viktor Reznov also got inside there as well and implanted his vision of the future in there to move forward with the brainwashing so that not only the bad guys would have control of Alex Mason. But lo and behold, if you go into the terminals inside of Call of Duty Black Ops 1, you can find a bunch of messages from a character by the name of John Trent. Now, we've talked about this many times before, so I'll be very quickly, but basically this character of John Trent knows information that only Viktor Reznov would know and warns JFK of what's going to happen, so on and so forth, lending to the question whether or not Viktor Reznov was truly dead or alive.
Could be a reconstruction, or look, immediately unlock the SUG Reznov skin. Alex Mason.
One thing in particular.
I mean, Mason has been a long talk, but again, if he wasn't mentioned in Black Ops 6 that much, what makes you think like he will be mentioned in Black Ops 7? I could be wrong here, but
like a flat board, essentially. So
I feel like they could reconstruct a lot of these characters that died in Black Ops 6. They're changing the timeline, and that's what's pissing a lot of people off.
The question, once again, is are they lying to us? Because as we know, the slogan for Call of Duty Black Ops 6 is "The truth lies." So to this day, we never truly knew whether or not the canon ending of Black Ops 2 was Alex Mason being dead or alive. However, what is interesting about Black Ops 7 is that one of the multiplayer maps, and I truly believe one of the missions within the campaign, is going back to David Mason's childhood home, aka Alex Mason's home. And going into the mind of David Mason within the campaign, we may finally get an answer to whether or not Alex Mason is truly dead or alive.
Well,
Now
we're probably gonna find out anyway, but hasn't Mason like been alive here?
One of the multiplayer maps, and I truly believe one of the missions within the campaign, is going back to David Mason's childhood home.
Again, there's gonna be David Mason is probably alive. Like, why would they kill off the most important characters of the previous games if people like the stories?
AKA Alex Mason's home. And going into the mind of David Mason within the campaign, we may finally get an answer to whether or not Alex Mason is truly dead or alive. Now, this is another one that you think may be obvious, because if you actually go back and look at what pretty much the canon ending of Black Ops 2 has to be in order for the rest of the events that we know in Call of Duty to happen, this pretty much needs to be the ending.
Murder me for Cordis DA.
Again, maybe they recover their bodies, can freeze them. Again, Black Ops 3, Black Ops 2 is still futuristic. And then they go ahead and suddenly they're still alive. A lot of these, a lot of players were saying how the game sucks, because this character died. What makes you think that they won't just get it back?
Now, when you do this, this pushes forward the Cordis Dia movement and essentially would lead to the events that we know are happening within Black Ops 7 10 years after this. And in fact, within the
So the AI robots.
Black Ops 7 Direct, they even addressed exactly this.
Black Ops 7 takes place about 10 years after the events of Black Ops 2 with Raul Menendez
It's awesome.
and his Cordis DA movement.
So in other words, in order for the Cordis Dia movement to move forward, he had to be killed. And they even mention exactly that.
At the end of Black Ops 2, Raul
That's why people will keep buying, because Black Ops 2 is like the OG game. Like, they love Black Ops 2.
Menendez was seemingly killed. Now in 2035, he's back with a mysterious video threatening to burn the world down in 3 days.
Yet here's the crazy part. Inside of the trailer for Black Ops 7, we see that Raul Menendez is making a return in one way or another. Is this some sort of AI video? Is this
I don't think it's an AI video, or it could be he is revived. Again, who knows, but it could be like his message from the future. It is gonna be amazing story, to be honest.
robot? Did they bring him back to life? This is actually a question we will almost guaranteed get an answer to at some point during Black Ops 7. But it'll be interesting to finally hear the whole story and once again, finally piece together the full ending of Black Ops 2. Now, this is the only one on the list that maybe you haven't heard of. Now, this gravestone was in the Black Ops 7 reveal trailer for about a second and a half. That is it. And there's a bunch of weird things about this. Number one, we've never heard about Frank Woods dying, but at the time of Black Ops 7 in the year 2035, he would be about 103 years old. So lending us to believe maybe he just died of natural causes.
I don't think he died. Personally, I don't think he died. I think he somehow survived, especially like in the future. We can already live to 80 years old, so what makes you think we won't be able to live to 103?
But there's a cane on his gravestone. He never had a cane. He was in a wheelchair almost immediately after Raul Menendez shot him in the legs. So it's very odd that there is a cane there. On top of this, I believe this is actually canon in the game because at the very first scene of the trailer, we can see Troy Marshall as well as David Mason walking through a cemetery, which seems to be the same cemetery that Alex Mason would be buried in alongside Frank Woods now as well. But again, we'll probably...
A lot of these characters will get references, or we could even get flashbacks. That's also a possibility. These, like, let me see, Black Ops 2 characters that are very important. So we got, I kind of forgot Black Ops 2 game a bit, but we got David Mason, we got Mike Harper, Jason Hudson, Alex Mason, Tommy Briggs, Raul Menendez, DeFalco, and we have other characters, right? So even David Mason is going to be back in the game. So Black Ops 7, he's the son of CIA agent. Like, all of these, and we're going to have Mike Harper. Absolutely beautiful. Jason Hudson, is he still alive? So Hudson was released as a playable operator or role Black Ops and Black Ops 6 and Call of Duty Warzone. Again, there's going to be key players, and that's why a lot of these players will be back in the story for this reason. Mason was a playable character in Black Ops mode of Black Ops 4. He was also released as a playable character. He's in playable mission. So in canon, he's killed in action. Alive is of 2025 non-canon. Revived in Black Ops 4. So again, this is for Mason. I'm personally not too worried about that because canon, like Raul Menendez, is definitely alive. You can see even him in the photo.
Probably hear more about this one once the game actually is launched.
He's incarcerated on non-canon, so that's for Raul Menendez. He's definitely revived of some sort.
This is another newer one based off of Black Ops 6, but probably is going to be the most important when it comes to the story of Black Ops 7. Now, if you followed Black Ops 6, you would know that the Cradle project is essentially a project run from within the CIA, from the Advanced Technology and Application Division. And specifically, when you are playing as Case and you go into the Advanced Technology and Application Division, you are exposed to Cradle. And we find out that Cradle was a substance that was tested on Case as Case number 1 in order to create super soldiers. However, what this drug ended up doing was causing soldiers to hallucinate and go into massive amounts of rage and rage out uncontrollably. This was
So what if we get that in Black Ops 7? I don't know if they're going to repeat this, to be honest. They have already the robots. The robots fighting against population, because that's the thing with robots. They don't know what a human is. They will just shoot.
Story of the Black Ops 6 campaign and why Jane Harrow kind of goes crazy throughout the campaign, being the main bad guy. Now, fast forward to Black Ops 7. It appears as though in the trailer, we once again see the same sort of gas, red in a container, that is being held by the guild. However, we can tell from the trailer that that is not what this gas does anymore. It makes people hallucinate and makes them see their darkest fears. As we can tell by the trailer.
Didn't we see that in Black Ops 7 trailer? Exactly that, like some sort of butterfly hallucination.
They are exposed to the gas,
exactly,
which makes them go into their mind, and that's kind of where a bunch of the missions throughout the campaign are going to take place. So how does Cradle change?
So that explains like why a lot of the stuff was, a lot of the roads was messed up.
How does it adapt, and how does it go from Black Ops 6 in 1991 being a part of the CIA really to now being a part of the guild? Now, this has been my biggest question and mystery for the longest time in Black Ops. You see, at the beginning of Black Ops 2, Frank Woods is captured by Raul Menendez, and Alex Mason has to go in and rescue him from Angola in a shipping container. Now, we know that Raul Menendez captured him, but we don't know why Frank Woods was there, nor do we know how Raul Menendez captured him.
Now, that was a scary part of Black Ops.
Nor who those other men in the shipping container actually were. Here's the thing. Back in the day, a lot of people assumed that he was captured after the events of Black Ops 1, after he jumps out of the window with Lev Kravchenko. However, at a different time in Black Ops 2, we find this out.
Kravchenko, when I sliced that bastard open, saved everyone's ass. But he comes to first.
This brings good memories back.
Welcome to the Hanoi Hilton. 6 months later, they shipped me over to Da Nang. And
that's the Vietnam War.
Made the Hilton look good. Lost 17 of my group. By 72, it was just me. I was not gonna die in a fucking swamp.
So in other words, Frank Woods already escaped from there, yet gets captured again, and we are never explained how, why, or anything in between. However, going into Black Ops 7, one of the places we go inside of David Mason's mind
Angola. Okay, so we are gonna get a backstory on this then.
Is Angola. This is confirmed within the reveal trailer, and the only thing that we know really history-wise for Call of Duty about Angola is that is where Frank Woods got captured. And in fact, if you look behind the Angola writing there, that is the ship where Frank Woods was found. So we might actually finally get an answer. So the Guild. The Guild is probably going to be the main bad guy or antagonist within Call of Duty Black Ops 7. Now, the weird part about the Guild is that this is actually a crime family that was on Avalon during Black Ops 6. In other words, in the early 1990s.
I remember this mission. This mission was amazing, to be honest. But Angola, again, this is just going to cover up for a lot of people who were waiting for the story and to buy the new one. But there is a lot of unexplained stuff in Black Ops 1, which I don't think was intended, but players later found out.
Was on Avalon during Black Ops 6. In other words, in the early 1990s. And through the website that has been put out, we found out that the Guild at some point, starting in 1992, so just after the events of Black Ops 6, switched to a shipping company, to a logistics company, to a robotics company.
So again, robotics company, could they be like a cover-up for this AI, guys? This very big possibility that they are the AI, like the future tech.
Probably going to be one of the things that we find out within Black Ops.
It's going to be probably a trillion-dollar company, like a multi-trillion-dollar company that's going to go turn rogue.
7.
Probably like a company turning rogue,
this
yeah.
next one may be one we will never get an answer to, but one of the main plot points of Black Ops 6 is what happens to Jane Harrow's parents. Now, we know that Jane Harrow's parents were within the CIA. They were members of the CIA, they were agents. But at some point, one of these CIA agents were sent in to take out and kill Jane Harrow's parents, and Jane happened to witness this exact thing happen. Now, it is inferenced throughout the campaign that this could have been Alex Mason, it could have been Russell Adler. There was a bunch of characters who this could have been that killed Jane Harrow's parents. Yet we were never fully informed who her parents were, what they were doing that got them killed, nor who it was that pulled the trigger. This is something...
So yeah, well, I don't think the parents will return. I think there's definitely big possibility they close the chapter. It doesn't have to be in this game though. It could be in Call of Duty 8.
That is probably one of the most interesting things to me, and hopefully will be something that gets answered, but as for right now, it's a completely unsolved mystery.
I mean, maybe there's theories already that solve it, but it's not that big of a thing that made people come back to COD and talk about it.
The Week of Zombies.
So yeah.
Now, speaking of families, the next family that we have to look at is the Masons. Now, the reason why this one is so interesting is because David Mason is making a return within Black Ops 7, but he's quite old in Black Ops 7, pushing into his 50s. He actually has quite a substantial amount of family alive, and in fact, 10 years...
I guess he doesn't care. As long as there's business to be done, he's gonna be alive. He's got some robots to kill.
After Black Ops 7 takes place in the year 2045, one of David Mason's daughter is the richest person in the world. They go by the name of Savannah Mason or Savannah Mason Green, and she is the world's first trillionaire, running a massive robotics cyber augmentation, and she is the one that runs the specialist and blackout program within Black Ops 4, which appears to be canon, which means it would be shocking if we didn't actually end up seeing any of the Mason's daughters within the game. There's two. There's Savannah Mason and there's Jessica Mason. Only time will tell if they fit into the story, but for now, we haven't heard anything about it.
They could be made also for the future games, like Black Ops 8. I could be a real possibility. Like, they're focusing on Black Ops 2 here, and in the future games, you know, if they run out of ideas, there's always gonna be the daughter.
Now,
I'm pretty sure Warzone is like about contracts, right?
Based around it. What is going on with Verdansk? After Verdansk was introduced, we found out that I guess Verdansk wasn't destroyed, as we found letters talking about the bomb that was laying right beside Stadium being deactivated or not being armed properly. And then we saw all of these notes in regards to someone by the name of Mrs. L, who we have yet to be introduced to. And then most recently, the Stadium got destroyed by a space laser, which of course as of present day, at least to my knowledge, doesn't exist. But then
I mean, this could be also non-canon, you know, like if there's a skin or something, of course they're gonna have events. Just look at Fortnite. You know, there's Thanos in Fortnite. Is that canon happening in Fortnite? No, it's like, you know, in the map, there's like, for example, Superman. And that's the big thing. Like Fortnite at the start, you know, it started off as lore. Same with Apex Legends, for example. So I don't think all of that is going to be like a laser. Maybe if it's like a satellite type of laser. So there's definitely a lot of possibilities here.
Now know that the game is taking place in 2035, and this space laser is looking like it's going to be one of the kill streaks within that game. So the question is Warzone currently in the year 2035, or is Warzone currently taking place in David Mason's mind, hence the whole
I don't think so. I think Warzone is completely separate from Black Ops.
Cradle project and gas that we talked about earlier. That to me is currently the biggest mystery going on.
I think in Warzone it's just like an Easter egg and people look too much into it.
Within Call of Duty, and we're not going to get many answers until the launch of Black Ops 7. So this has been my list of 10 unsolved mysteries in the Black Ops.
But yeah, pretty good mysteries. I feel like some of these will be explained, but others will be like forever missing. So yeah, let that sink in. We will not get all of these answers in this video. Black Ops, we got Black Ops 7 classic survival mode. We got a lot to talk about. Just a bathroom break. Be right back, guys.